What is up, guys? Welcome back. Today we're doing another album ranking. We're finally getting to my favorite band, Trivium. I'm surprised I didn't do them first, but honestly, now I'm kind of glad that I'm doing them now because I kind of have started to make my videos not shitty. So, yeah, let's just do it. I have a tendency to make intros really long, so we're not going to do that here. Got 10 albums to talk about, and yeah. So we've got their debut, Ember to Inferno. Now, I'll be honest, this is my least favorite Trivium album. I still enjoy it. I still think it's a good album, but it's just not as good as obviously what they would do in their future. Obviously, the band was still very, very young. I think Matt Heafy was like 16 when he made this album, so yeah. But I mean, it's not devoid of quality or anything like that. Pillars of Serpents is really great. It's a really great song. If I Could Collapse the Masses is cool. The title track is great. To Burn the Eye is probably one of my favorite Trivium deep cuts. But yeah, I mean, really, I could pretty much just take or leave most of this album, if I'm honest. So yeah, we're just gonna put it in the C tier because I don't really think it's worthy of a D tier, but for the sake of this video looking sort of professional, we're gonna leave it. So we've got Ascendancy, the second album ever, and everybody freaks out over this one, and I partially understand why, but at the same time, I don't know, man. It's a good album. It's good. It's really good even, but just I don't know if I consider it one of their best. I mean, it's definitely one of their most consistently good albums. I will give it that. You know, this album has very few not great songs on it, and I will argue that "Dying in Your Arms" is one of those not great songs. And I mean, I'll just say this: I'm not really a huge fan of Trivium when they go more radio friendly, or you know, I mean, I just like when they just go all out and do super heavy fucking metal because I love that shit. But yeah, I mean, Rain, Pull Harder on the Strings of Your Martyr, the title track, Gunshot to the Head, Trepidation, Like Light to the Flies, Suffocating Sight, The Deceived, Declaration, Bet, all great songs. So we're gonna go with A tier. Sorry if you heard my phone. That shouldn't happen again. Moving on to The Crusade. Crusade is an interesting album, I will say, because you could pretty much argue that Ascendancy is a metalcore album, and so is Ember to Inferno, but on The Crusade is when they go full thrash and groove metal, which I love that, because I mean, this album is pure Metallica, Iron Maiden, Slayer, Megadeth worship, and it's great. It's great for that. I love it for that. But I mean, it even has the obligatory super fucking long instrumental song with The Crusade, which is obviously a staple of all of Metallica's 80s albums. Got some really great songs. I love how Ignition and Detonation are pretty much one song split into two parts. I like how they connect with each other. Entrance of the Conflagration is really cool. Anthem, We Are the Fire is decent. Not one of my favorite songs, but one of the first Trivium songs I ever heard. I really love And Sadness Will Sear. That song is actually really dark lyrically. Becoming the Dragon is a banger. It's taken me so long to really come around to that song. I love it now. To the Rats is great. This World Can't Tear Us Apart is The Rising is Tread the Floods is cool though. And Contempt Breeds Contamination, that is a good song. Really, I mean, yeah, this album is quite good, but it just doesn't reach those highs that obviously they would do later on in their career and they would do before on Ascendancy. So I think Crusade is sitting pretty comfortably at a B, but we'll see. We'll see if I feel like bumping it down to C, but I think it's good where it's at right now. So they shift their sound yet again in 2008 on Shogun. I love this album. I mean, most Trivium fans I think will sing the praises of Shogun, and it's deserved because this album is incredible. Keiste Gomen. I don't know how to pronounce half this shit, but Torn Between Scylla and Charybdis. Down from the Sky, Into the Mouth of Hell We March, Throes of Perdition. I'm just reading off the track list here, literally. Even my least favorite songs on this album, like He Who Spawned the Furies, are still, and The Calamity, are still quite good songs. And of course, the title track is amazing. But if you know anything about Trivium, I probably wouldn't need to tell you that. This album is just banger all around, and I think we've got ourselves our first S tier. I think I'm comfortable saying that, and I will say Shogun is my second favorite Trivium album of all time. We're gonna get to what my favorite one is, but hint, it's one of these. In Waves is next, and the song kind of goes back to the metalcore kind of sound. Although, I mean, I forgot to add about Shogun. They start adding a lot more progressive influences. So it's pretty much like Metallica meets Dream Theater, which is really cool. I really love that sound. But yeah, In Waves, we're getting to it. This album is really, really awesome. I will say it's one of those albums that's also kind of hit or miss. Kind of like Ember to Inferno, where like you get a couple really good songs, then you get a couple just kind of okay ones. And yeah, the title track is obviously amazing. Dust Dismantled, Watch the World Burn, Black. Skyline Severance is really cool. Built to Fall's okay. Again, more radio friendly songs by Trivium are. I don't hate them, but I don't love them either. And you got my favorite song on the album, which is Caustic, or The Ties That Bind. This song is so good. I could go on and on about it. Just the way it starts out super heavy, and then it gets calmer towards the middle with Matt singing, and the like clean guitars, and that lead part during those sections. It's so good. I love it. This is a really good album all around. The deluxe edition is pretty cool too, with Shattering the Skies Above, which is a great song. Their version of Slave New World is pretty cool too, by Sepultura. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about In Waves. I think In Waves is also sitting comfortably in the B tier. I know a lot of people would probably put this higher up, but I'm not one of those people. And so this is later era Trivium is where we start to go into hot take kind of area here, because a lot of people really, really hate on Vengeance Falls, and I don't understand why. Like, did they listen to the album at all? Like, it's kind of the same. Like, I think it's that metalcore sound of In Waves, but more refined here, with catchier choruses and some really awesome guitar work by Matt and Corey. Yeah. I mean, this album was produced by David Draiman of Disturbed, and I think that's why people hate on it. But still, I don't really understand that, because I think he really tried to bring out the best in Trivium, and I think he did do that. This is also some of Trivium's darkest work to date. Like Matt is pissed on some of these songs, like just songs like Villainy Thrives, for example. He is mad, understandably so. And then just some of these songs are just outright depressing, like songs like No Hope for the Human Race, At the End of This War, To Believe, No Way to Heal, obviously Strife, which is the big song on this album. You could argue it's more radio friendly, but it's still pretty heavy. So Brave the Storm, Vengeance Falls. Yeah, this album's great. I don't care what anyone says. This album is really, really good. But so I think A tier is worthy of Vengeance Falls. And now we've got another massive hot take, because a lot more people hate on Silence in the Snow even more. But this time it's because there's no screaming on the album. Now, personally, I don't really give a shit if there's screaming on a Trivium album. I think Matt Heafy's singing voice is great. And obviously he's gotten a lot better as time has went along, and his singing just has leveled up. You know, even in between Vengeance Falls and Silence and Snow, he's improved a lot. And I know I've said before that I'm not as big of a fan of more radio-friendly Trivium, which is basically this entire album. But it's still pretty heavy in some spots, like, you know, Blind Leading the Blind, The Thing That's Killing Me, Cease All Your Fire, I guess, is pretty heavy in some spots. Until the World Goes Cold was actually the first Trivium song I ever heard, so this album was kind of my gateway into the band. I love the title track. Dead and Gone I like. Yeah. It's not that I hate Radio Friendly Trivium, I just don't think they can write that well with trying to have a more accessible sound, but I think this album really did it right. And I think it has some of Trivium's most underrated songs. And if you're a fan and you dismiss this album or you're not really a fan of it, I urge you to listen to it again, because it's awesome in my opinion. And I think we're also going to put this into A tier. And I feel like that's kind of where, well, I have an entire video about this next album, so I'm trying not to. I don't want to spoil that album, but Sin in a Sentence is my favorite Trivium album. I will say that. I have a whole video about it that still haven't released yet. I made it a while back, so it might be due for a remake. But yeah, I could go on and on about the Sin in a Sentence and just how incredible of an album it is. It was the first album, like, it was like, I discovered Trivium, and then like a week or two after, they dropped the title track for this album as the lead single. And to this day, The Sin in a Sentence is my favorite Trivium song of all time. I love it so much. And I love all the songs on this album. You know, it's just super heavy, but super catchy at the same time. And it's just, again, I'll save most of the talk for this one whenever I decide to actually put out that video. I'll have to rewatch it and see if it's any good, but yeah, Sin in a Sentence is so fucking good. I genuinely thought this was like my all-time favorite album, like of any band or of just music in general, but I don't think I have one. But yeah, 2020 rolls around. You know, yeah, that year kind of sucked, but we got What the Dead Men Say, so it wasn't that bad, right? I think this album is great too. Not as good as Sin in the Sentence, but again, nothing could beat Sin in the Sentence. IMO. I really love Catastrophist. I don't know if it's my favorite song on the album. I don't know. The title track is really great too. Amongst the Shadows and the Stones, The Defiant, Sickness Unto You, The Ones We Leave Behind, Bending the Arc to Fear. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of Scattering the Ashes or Bleed Into Me. But, yeah. What the Dead Men Say is good. I'll put this also in A tier. And then we've got In the Court of the Dragon. Now, I did not expect Trivium to do another album when they just released What the Dead Men Say. I thought that, you know, that was going to be the album for a while, the last one for a while. But no, they clapped back with an even better album. In the Court of the Dragon is nuts. Because I thought when they just did the title track, I thought, okay, this should just be like a one-off single. Kind of like how All Out Life is for Slipknot. If I can fucking speak, holy shit. But they just made an album just full of bangers. Even some of my lesser favorite songs on the album, like Fall Into Your Hands. Really, that's my least favorite song on the whole album. But all of the songs are just bangers. Even Feast of Fire, which is the like radio-friendly song on the album, is still great. And Yeah, I really love In the Court of the Dragon, and so do I think a lot of fans. And yeah, S tier, S tier, all the fucking way. So if we're gonna let's try to rank these a little bit better. I would say, um, I'd say I like Silence more than Vengeance Falls, and I like What the Dead Men Say more than both of those albums, I think. Or, nah, I think I like Silence in the Snow more than What the Dead Men Say, honestly. But, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this. So, yeah, that's how I would rank all of Trivium's albums. Again, they're my favorite bands, of course. I love pretty much all of them. And again, yeah, if you want to see more of this, hit like, comment what your ranking is. If you agree, disagree with me, just be nice. And that's about it. See ya.